Welcome to VLSI lecture series. This is lecture number 5. In this lecture, we will discuss few sequential circuits like D flip-flop and SR flip-flop and its VHDL coding. First of all, we will discuss D flip-flop. In D flip-flop, we have one input signal which is D in, data input signal, and one output signal which is data output, D out. Apart from this, we have two signals. One is reset signal and one is clock signal. Clock signal will enable the circuit, while signal will reset your inputs. Then we will discuss SR flip-flop. In SR flip-flop, there are two inputs, set S and reset R, and two outputs, Q and Q bar, and one clock signal, which is used to enable the circuit. Since there are two inputs, there are four input combinations 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Based on the input conditions, you will get the output at Q and Q bar. Q and Q bar are the complementary signals. That is, when 1 is present at Q, 0 will be present at Q bar, QB. Now we'll look at the truth table of these two flip-flops. So this is truth table for SR flip-flop, in which we have two inputs, S and R, and output, which is indicated by Q n plus 1. N plus 1 indicates the next state and N indicates the present state. So when S and R values are 0 0, that means 0 is present at S and 0 is present at R, then your output will remain same as previous state. So Qn plus 1 will be Qn. When 1 is present at S input and 0 is present at R input, then your output will be 1. When 0 is applied at S and 1 is applied at R, then your output will become 0. And 1 1 is not defined condition in case of SR flip-flop. For D flip-flop, there is one input and one output. So when input is 0, output is 0. When input is 1, output is 1. This is the simple truth table of SR and D flip-flop. Now we'll discuss the VHDL codes for these two circuits. First of all, we'll discuss the VHDL code for D flip-flop. For that, I will use an online platform which is edaplayground.com. I have written the codes. I will copy and paste it on the EDA playground. As we have discussed in the previous lecture, we have two codes. One is design code and one is test bench code. In design code, we use entity and architecture for the design. Test bench code is used to test the functionality of design under test. Now first we will discuss the code of design code for D flip-flop. As discussed in the previous lecture, we have to use initially the library IEEE, use IEEE dot std underscore logic underscore 1164.all. Then you have to create the entity for the D flip-flop, in which you have to declare the inputs and output. So here I have used entity DFF, then the port is keyword, then inside this entity I have declared the inputs and output. So D in is your input, in the D flip-flop we have D in as the input and D out as the output, reset and clock signals. So these all four signals we will declare in the entity. So D in, clock and reset will have mode as in, while D out will have mode as out with the data type standard logic, std underscore logic. Then we'll end this entity by using command end and name of the entity, which is dff. After writing the entity for the code, we will write its architecture. So I will define architecture by the name behavioral. The name of the architecture is behavioral, then keyword of, then name of the entity. So here the entity is dff, the keyword is, then begin statement and process. So in process we provide the inputs. Here the inputs are din, clock and reset. Then we'll begin the process. We'll use if else condition here. So when the reset signal is 1, your output will be 0 irrespective of the input. Else if at the rising clock signal, your output will equal to input according to the truth table, as we have discussed the truth table of D flip-flop. So output is equivalent to input. That is, when input is 0, output is 0. When input is 1, output is 1. But it is provided that you have applied the clock. So whenever you apply the clock, then only the circuit will get enabled and you will get the output. So at the rising edge of the clock, the condition is d out is equal to d in. Then we will end the process and we will end the architecture by typing its name, which is behavioral in this case. This is about design code for D flip-flop. Now we'll write its test bench code. I have already written the code in the notepad. Again, as discussed in the previous lecture, first of all we have to create empty entity. Again, you have to use the library IEEE, use IEEE dot standard underscore logic underscore 1164 dot all. Then you have to create empty entity. So name of the entity I have given here is dff underscore tb. Then keyword is, then end the entity by typing end and the name of the entity. After writing the entity, you have to write the architecture. So architecture, the name of the architecture here is behavior of keyword, and this is the name of the entity is keyword, and then we have to define the component. Now this component should be according to the design code. Now in this design we have used only one component, which is D flip-flop. The same should appear here. So component is DFF. Again you have to declare all these signals as we have discussed in the design code: D in, clock, reset and D out with their modes. The mode of D in, clock and reset is input. D in, reset and clock will be acting as an input, while D out is output signal. Then we have to end the component using end component. Then define the signal by typing the keyword signal with standard logic 001 for these signals, and signal D out as standard logic. We have defined the data type. Then clock period you have to define. Here I am taking 10 nanosecond. After this you have to use begin, and then you have to define the design under test. So here I am using port map function, and the entity which I have created in design code, the same we have to use here with the signals which we have used earlier. So D in, clock, reset and D out, and same we have to map these signals with the actual signals present in the entity of design code. So D in is equal to D in, clock, reset and D out. Then this is called as clock process. So you have to define the clock process when the clock is 0, then wait for the clock period divided by 2. Then when clock is 1, again you have to wait for clock period divided by 2. This is the time. Then we have to end this clock process by typing end process. Then we have to begin the stimulus process. So stimulus process is depending on your reset signal here. So when reset signal is active, you have to wait. When reset signal is 0, then apply your input, wait for some time. Then when reset signal is 0, apply, change the input from 0 to 1. Now here in previous case we are using reset signal 0, and d in means input signal, I'm applying the value as 0. So what output you should get here? You should get 0 because d in is 0. Next, again we are using reset 0 and d in as 1, means 1 is present at the input, so you should get 1 at the output according to the functionality of d flip flop. And we have to end this process by typing end the process. This is stimulus process. Before stimulus process you have to write the code for clock process. So when clock is 0, you have to wait for some time, and when clock is 1, wait for this much amount of time. So this is the test bench code for D flip flop. Now we have to select the language. Here we are using VHDL. So test bench plus design. In this section you have to select the language VHDL. Then top entity here which we are using is DFF underscore TB. So you have to mention that top entity when you are applying, when you are using edaplayground.com for the execution of VHDL. Then select the tool. So here Aldec Rivera Pro 2017.02 I'm using. Runtime, you can keep this runtime as 500 nanosecond. Since our all weight signals are in the range of nanosecond, so we'll take that runtime. You can take it 1000 1000 nanosecond or 1 millisecond, in the range of 100 nanosecond to 10 millisecond. Then click on the open EP-Wave after run and click on this run button. So here we obtain the output. So this is the clock signal. This is input and output and reset for the design code, and the remaining, the down signals are test bench code signals. I have used the same name, so the same name appears twice for each signal. You can use different names for the test bench code. Now initially your reset signal is active. The clock signal is 0 here. So for positive edge we have to check the values. So positive edge, when clock is 1, input is 0, output is 0. Now when we'll check when reset signal is 0, when input is 0, output is also 0. Now in this case, when reset signal is 0, and at this point of clock, when input is 1, output becomes 1, and so on. You can check the signals at particular interval, time interval, and you can check the functionality here. So whenever our input changes, your output will also change accordingly. So this is about D flip flop. Now we will discuss about SR flip flop. I'll I have already typed that code in the notepad. I will just copy that code. So this is your design code for SR flip flop. In SR flip flop, we have two inputs S and R with clock signal and two output signal Q and Q bar. According to the truth table of SR, when both the inputs are 0, your output will remain same as that of previous state. When S becomes 1 and R is 0, then your output will become 1. When S is 0, R is 1, your output will become 0. And 1 1 is not defined condition in case of SR flip flop. We will check the functionality of this SR flip flop by writing the VHDL code. So first of all, you have to create the entity. First, you use the library as we all know. Then create the entity. Here, the name of the entity is SRFF. Then you have to declare all the signals. So here we have four signals as the input and two as the output. S and R are the input signal, then clock signal and reset signal. So these are having in mode since they are acting as input signals, while Q and Q bar are output signal. They are complementary outputs. That means if Q is 1, Q bar is 0 with the data type standard logic std underscore logic. So this is how you create the entity in design code. Then you have to write for the architecture of for the design code, architecture of design code. So here you have to use architecture. The name of the architecture is behavioral. Then keyword of, the name of the entity is SRFF. Then keyword is. Then you have to begin the process by using input signals. Now here input signals are S, R, clock and reset. Then begin. Now this is the functionality of your design. So when reset signal is 1, so your outputs are 0 0. Else if at the rising edge of the clock, then we will use one if else statement here. So in next loop we will use the condition for 1 1. So here I have mentioned the Q and Q bar as Z. Z indicates high impedance state. It is not defined state. And then we will use both the if else conditions by end if. And then we will end this process which we have defined earlier and end the architecture. So since you know, according to the truth table, the output is taking the value of S. So when S is 1, output is 1. When S is 0, output is 0. That's what we have to mention here. The output is the Q is equal to R, means the Q is taking the value of S and Q bar is taking the value of R according to the truth table. So when S is 1, Q is 1. When S is 0, your Q means output is 0. And when Q is 1, Q bar is 0. And when Q is 0, Q bar is 1. That means Q bar is taking the values of R and Q is taking the values of S. That's what we have to mention in the code. So Q is taking the value of S, Q bar is taking the value of R. This is about the design code. Now we'll discuss the test bench code for SR flip flop. So in test bench code, first of all, you have to define the empty entity. So here the entity I'm using the name as srff underscore tb. The keyword is and this empty entity. After this, you have to create the architecture for this entity. So architecture name I use is behavior of the entity name srff underscore tb. Keyword is. Then you have to define the component similar to whatever you are using in the design code. The same thing you have to use as a component. So here only one component we are using, which is sr flip flop, that we have described in the design code. The same thing is nothing but your component in the test bench code. So you have to relate the two codes such that the entity present in the design code becomes your component in the test bench code, and accordingly you have to describe the signals. So here S, R, clock and reset, these signals are acting as input signals. Q and Q bar are your output signals. Then end the component by end component. Then again define the signals in the trace bench. So I have defined these 6 signals: S, R, clock, reset, Q and Q bar with the standard logic data type. Initially the values are 0 0 0 0. Then the constant clock period is 10 nanosecond. Then you have to write the code for the design under test using the port map function srff. Whatever entity you have used in the design code, same entity name you have to mention here. Srff port function port map, and then map the signals present in the test test bench code with the design code signals. Then begin your clock process. So when clock is 0, wait for the duration up to clock period divided by 2, whatever we have discussed earlier, the clock period 10 nanosecond. Then when the clock is 1, wait for clock period divided by 2 time, and then end this clock process. Then begin the stimulus process. When the reset is 1, wait for 50 nanosecond. When reset is 0, apply the inputs at S and R. So when S is 0 and R is 1, up, wait for 50 nanosecond. Then again keep the reset as 0 and apply 1 and 0 at S and R respectively. Keep the reset 0 and apply 0 0 at S and R respectively. Wait for 50 nanosecond and then keep the reset as 0 and apply 1 1 at S and R respectively. And this will end the process. So this process, whatever we have defined earlier, so stimulus process. So this stimulus process will end here, and that will end your test bench code. So here we are testing the functionality of SR flip-flop by providing the input combinations, 4 input combinations: 0 1 1 0 0 0 and 1 1. Now we'll run this code. So select VHDL. Now here top entity is SRFF underscore TB. We'll keep the tool as Aldec Rivera Pro 2017.02. We'll keep the runtime as 500 nanosecond and click on open EPWave after run. Then click on run button. So this is how your waveform will look like. A clock signal. This is Q, Q bar, R, reset signal and S signal. Now at this point, the reset is 1. So 0 0 we are applying to the inputs, but Q and Q bar both are showing 0 0. That means they are not complement to each other because reset signal is 1, it is active. Now when we make reset signal 0, Suppose if you observe at this positive edge of the clock, the output, now in this case, the reset signal is 0 and the input present at S is 0, input present at R is 1. That means the combination is 0, 1. So you should get 0, 1 at the output. So see here we are getting 0, 1 at the output, 0 at the Q and Q bar at the 1 at the Q bar according to the truth table. According to the truth table, we are getting the output. Now when our input is 0, 1, you should get the output as 0, 1, means the 0 at Q and 1 at Q bar. So we'll observe the same thing here. So at this edge of the clock, when input S is 1 and R is 0, you are getting Q as 1 and Q bar as 0. Similarly here, when S is 0 and R is 0, you should get the previous output. The previous output was, in this case, the previous output was 1, 0. So output was 1, 0. For this condition, when both the inputs are 0, 0, it will retain the previous output. Now previous output was 1, 0, so it will retain the output as 1, 0 only. Again we can check for the remaining cycles. Now when the output is 1, 1, it is undefined state, so your output will become Z, which is undefined for the input combination of 1, 1. According to the truth table, 1, 1, it is not defined. Okay, so this is about the SR flip-flop. In the coming lecture, we will discuss more complex combinational circuits like finite state machines and counters. So keep visiting this VLSI lecture series. Thank you.